It has been said, plan for the worst, hope for the best, but can that be applied to collecting as well? Of course it can. Well, how about that? I officially updated my intro and music. As you can see, we officially moved from 2010 to around 2015. Progress. Maybe one day I'll get a real intro. But until then, I digress. Today we're going to be setting some expectations on 6-scale collecting and Hot Toys in general. But before we do that, please go ahead and give me a presumptive like on this video, as well as hit that subscribe if you've not done so already. Help me out with that nasty algorithm. I would certainly appreciate it. But let's get to the heart of our topic today. Nothing is more disheartening than seeing my fellow collectors spout off online about some grievance that they may have simply because their expectations were not met. Whether it be the weight, whether it be the product, whether it be the price itself, people have come to expect a lot from Hot Toys. Now, because of that price, we have to ask ourselves, are your concerns actually valid? Now, let me stress, this is not me giving Hot Toys a pass to be lazy, cut corners, or anything like that and under-deliver. Now, what I am saying is that if we held these companies to a realistic expectation and a realistic standard, this hobby may actually become a lot more enjoyable for you. Now, today we're going to look at 5 specific things that we can come to expect from 6-scale collecting and Hot Toys in general. Now, the first thing we'll need to come to expect is that figures will be delayed. Now, when a figure is initially announced, if you notice the wait times for the estimated arrival, they're always around 12 to 18 months. That means that we are close to a year and a half, sometimes 2 years, until we actually get a figure on our shelf. Now, I know that in this world of instant gratification, that is asking a lot. But what if I told you that even with those estimates, we will have figures that are delayed? Believe it or not, I saw something on Facebook just the other day saying, does anybody have the Doctor Strange Zombie Edition? Now, this was just announced a couple weeks ago as of this recording. People need to understand that these are works of art, and it's going to take a while to get these bad boys into production and into your hands. We need to expect that figures will be delayed. If you haven't noticed, there are delays all over the place and all over in this crazy world, whether that be because of shipping, because of materials, because of cost, because of labor, because of different diseases, pandemics. Who knows what it may be that causes the delay, but we need to expect that there will be delays, and we need to come to a realization that that is just part of this hobby. Now, we may get lucky from time to time, and you will have some expectations shattered when you get something new and you get something in early. That is fantastic, but a majority of the time, because of the nature of this collecting business, things will be delayed, and we do just have to need to accept that. Now, the second thing we're going to need to come to expect is that figures will look different than the prototype. Now, keep in mind, when these figures are released and put up for pre-order, notice you will be having these product photos of a prototype. Now, these are one of ones, or one of very few, because they are prototypes. They're the ones that you sometimes see behind the scenes of JC Hong or some of the other sculptors out there sculpting, painting, putting these figures together for the actual release. Now, anything that is eventually moved into mass production will naturally lose a little bit of quality. You'll sometimes hear the term sharpness being lost from the head sculpt, but that is just something that has come to be expected. With that, I will say that a lot of people got up in arms about the Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi. They said, wow, this prototype head sculpt is incredible. If we get this, I will be happy. Then the product came out and people were not so happy. Also, keep in mind the Battle Damaged 85. We got this wonderful prototype and everyone said, wow, this is going to be the definitive Iron Man from the final movie. And then, what do you know? The Tony Stank head sculpt came out and people lost their minds. Now, I understand that sometimes when you are given something like that, then people need to be a little more vocal about it. And what do you know? Hot Toys listened and took those head sculpts out and gave new ones to those that wanted it. So hats off to Hot Toys for listening to the customer base when things were not right. But occasionally you will get surprised, have your expectations shattered again with an upgrade. Does anybody remember the Endgame Captain America, that Chris Evans head sculpt? One of the things that no one saw coming was how good that was going to be. Now, the Captain America Chris Evans head sculpt had been used and thrown around on all the different Captain America bodies from Avengers 1 all the way to Age of Ultron, Civil War, you name it. But then when we got the Endgame version, it was the definitive Captain America, and it is one of the best head sculpts I think that they've ever done. So, although we need to expect that the figures are going to be different from the prototype, set our expectations. Sometimes you'll get a little treat and get a little thing that's a little bit better. Now, the third thing we need to come to expect is that figures will continue to rise in price. Now, that is just the way of things. Inflation is real. Price increases are real, and that is just the nature of the way the world works. As supply and demand goes up, as well as cost of goods and services, the price will go up. Now, I understand that some people say it's pricing me out of the hobby. I get that, I really do. But when it comes down to it, realize that they are paying people to make these pieces, and sometimes the cost of the goods that are putting into the figures go up, which means the cost of the figure is going to go up as well. Now, I will say that as technology advances, we do get upgrades to the figure. So naturally, as the technology increases, the quality of the figure increases, such as all these different Iron Men, all these wonderful head sculpts they continue to put out. Go back 10 years ago and look at the head sculpts that were initiated then to what we have now. And I will say, beyond a doubt, the increase in the talent and increase in the product is definitely more substantial. So with that being said, yeah, the price is going to go up. That's something we need to think about. So don't be surprised when the next couple pre-orders come out and you see the price, the sticker shock is there, and you say, oh my goodness, I can't believe it is this many dollars. It is just the way things are. So if that is the case and you say, wow, wasn't expecting it to be that much, if it's a figure you really want, look at your collection. Find out some things that you may be able to move out, sell some things, get some money for that. Because at the end of the day, if you can justify a figure purchase, it will be worth it in the end. The fourth thing we need to accept and to realize is that some figures simply will never be announced. Without fail, every single post, whenever a new product is revealed on the different Facebook accounts, Instagram, Reddit, everybody runs to the comments because without fail, you will see these. Who asked for this? Okay, cool, but when is XYZ releasing? Hey, where's Padme? Where's General Kenobi? Where's Toby and Andrew? Those are all the things that you will see on the Facebook groups, on the Instagram comments, because everyone always says, where is the figure that I want? You'll sometimes go to different conventions and you see some awesome figures out on display and everyone says, oh my goodness, a release is imminent, only to find out years later it is sitting on the Sideshow Coming Soon page, never to see the light of day. We need to expect that there will be figures that are simply never made. Now, there are occasions, such as that special Bespin Luke that finally came off the Coming Soon page and a few others. They do eventually surface, but sometimes there are some out there that will simply never be made. And we need to just set our expectations that sometimes you may not get the figure that you're looking for. And finally, speaking of releases, speaking of reveals, we need to expect that there are some figures that will never be re-released. Now, I've done a whole video about this. I've shared my thoughts on this before. There are so many people that are just hoping for the inevitable re-release. But as I've said before, the numbers are just not there. At the end of the day, this is a business and they need to make the most money that they can. And sometimes re-releasing a figure, even though they have the master molds, they have all the things, they've done it before, there's no more research and development that needs to go into it, sometimes they simply will not re-release them. And we need to accept that. We don't need to get all in a huff, get mad saying, when are they re-releasing this? And then get mad at the secondary market prices. We just need to accept there's some figures that will never be re-released. Now, if you haven't seen my video, as I've said, of all the different figures that have been out there, only around 5% of all figures that have ever been released have ever been re-released. So with that being said, a majority of figures won't be re-released. So if there's something that you're looking for, if you're on a buy-sell trade, if you've been looking around and saying, wow, there's this figure I really want, but I'm hoping for a re-release, you may be surprised to find out that it will never come. We need to set some expectations for that. And if it doesn't come, then decide whether or not you want to pony up and pay a little bit over what retail is so that you can have the figure that you want. So with that being said, these are the things that we need to come to expect with Hot Toys. But once again, I'm not giving Hot Toys a pass to be lazy, cut corners, or underdeliver. This is simply allowing us to set realistic expectations and hold these companies to a realistic standard so that you can enjoy your collecting. Now it's your turn to let me know down below, what is a figure that has exceeded your expectations? Was it released early? Did you get a better head sculpt? Was it better in your hand than you thought it ever was going to be? Let me know what that special figure is for you. As I've said, go ahead and give me a like on this video if you've not done so already, and especially if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, I would certainly appreciate it. Help me out against that nasty algorithm by sharing this video with somebody else, and I will be making sure to see you in our next video.